Hey everybody, welcome to Journey Through the Generations, and we have a special episode today. If you've been following our podcast for a while, you know that we've talked about interviewing our family members.
Yes, we have.
Yep, and so we've already interviewed Trisha's mother.
Yes.
And our son Wesley has interviewed and been on the podcast as well. And so we have the special pleasure of interviewing Trisha's sister, and we'll let Trisha introduce her.
Yes, you guys, my sister is with us on the podcast today, and I'm super excited. My big sister, because she's older than me, Paedra. Hey, Paedra, how's it going?
Got Trisha.
I already know this is about to be silly. I already know. Okay. I don't know how I got roped into this. So what we're going to do is go through some questions that we have for Paedra and for Trisha, and we'll just go from there. Okay. You ready, Paedra?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. All right. So, Paedra, what are your thoughts about the importance of genealogy and family research?
So it's very important because one should know where they came from. And as a historian myself, I appreciate, the stuff and the work that Trisha has put into this, looking into the family. So it's important, especially us being African American from the South. Sometimes we have been told certain things, and then now, through her research, we're finding out some other different things.
Yeah, and I think that's important, right? So you can share it with those that are coming behind you, right?
Right. Not only do we share it with, people who are coming behind us because this is our legacy, but also sharing it with each other, and letting, the rest of the people in the family, the people in the community, know exactly what we're learning, because our history is American history. And that's part of what I like about it, is you can find your relatives in history. Because I know we both love history, and we have learned about different wars and things like that. But I would have never guessed that there were African Americans in the Revolutionary War. I mean, I didn't learn that. Do you remember learning that in high school?
I didn't learn it in high school, but to your point, we read, we watch different things. So over time, I learned.
Right. That was a thing. We as African Americans have been in every war in America. And that's something that's not broadly taught. And that's something that we can find in our own family. And that's one of the things that I have enjoyed learning about and finding our family within Americans' history.
And Paedra, when you say you're a historian, you mean from an education standpoint, right? Like your degree is in history, right?
Correct. So, yeah, my undergrad is in political science with a minor in history. And then when I got my master's, it was history.
I guess I probably should have let you give your bio, but that's okay. That's all right. So what are some of the things about your family that you remember growing up?
So is it like we were together a lot?
We're sisters.
And
yes.
so, I'm talking about, for example, our grandparents lived probably a block away from each other. Mm. And so we could be at one's house at 1:00, and by 1:10 we at the next one's house. So we did a lot of that, going in between the two grandparents' houses. Sunday dinners, we did have those. And even once during the week we would... Yeah. But once we got older and, we were in band and in basketball and other stuff, but we still had at least 2 meals a week together.
Yeah, I remember that. And one of the things that I remember is that, like you said earlier, we were always reading about African Americans in America. That's something that our grandmother made sure that we read books. We knew about, the famous African Americans, and that we knew as much about Black history as possible. And I think that's part of where, I'm going to speak for myself, my love of history started. Because I was that kid in school that did, when I did reports, I would always pick somebody that was black in whatever subject it was to write my report on.
I did that a lot too, because in college, one of my papers for my master's degree was about African American women in the suffrage movement, which we know there were some.
Yes, we do.
Especially Delta Sigma Theta.
You don't have to whisper it.
Yeah, your shout out to your sorority.
Our sorority. Delta Sigma
Well,
Theta
she's the one that
Sorority
said it, but okay.
Incorporated. Okay.
But yeah, so history. So we've always tried to. We would do stuff, especially more than just the normal MLK, Rosa Parks, Black History.
Correct.
We usually did find other stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So Trisha talks about your Madeira and Granny a lot in her research. Just wondering what your memories are of both of them, as you were coming up.
So they were actually friends.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
They were friends. They got along. They were in a lot of the same organizations. So they both were in Eastern Star. So they got along. Because most time, I guess, sometimes in-laws don't always get them. They don't always get on. But they were actually friends, even though they had totally different life paths in a sense. And so I just think the food. Because
It's what I remember about mine.
Well, they were both really good cooks.
they both cooked, and Madeira probably introduced us to shrimp.
Yes, that's one of my first memories.
And being again from a small town in Arkansas and black, a lot of black people weren't eating shrimp. Outside of Louisiana, I would say.
No, yeah, you're right.
And then Granny was she baked cakes, but she would cook too. So when I say we had like dinners, we were usually at Granny's house, our Madeira's house. I remember breakfast probably more at Madeira's with Papa.
With Papa, yeah.
And stuff like that.
Because my sister, one of the things I remember is my sister been drinking coffee since she's probably 9 months old. You laughing, but no, really, they would give it to her in a spoon when she was under 1. I know, and that's one of the things that I remember growing up is that you and Russell would always be drinking coffee.
With Papa.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why she drank 5 cups a day.
That is correct.
That's partly part of it. I have been drinking it for a while. Yes, on Sunday breakfast.
Yeah.
And he will fix sausage, eggs, and coffee.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing about, family. Food brings everybody together.
It really does.
And it's one of the things that we miss in our communities today. It just doesn't happen like that as often like it did back in the day. So, okay, so when you were younger, do you remember your oldest living relative?
Madeira's mama, Nona, did know her, spend time with her, and then, maybe a Macy?
No, she was younger than Papa, but yeah, she was probably at the time one of our oldest living relatives. But
Madeira's mother, we did actually interact with her, knew her. I used to visit out in
Patterson.
Yeah, see, I was gonna say that wrong, but out in. We was in the country, but that was the country. And then even once she got put into the nursing home in town. So, we actually knew her.
Yeah,
they was in Arkansas?
Yes, in a neighboring county. And then she was in a nursing home in Newport. She lived to be 99. So, she had a long life.
Yeah, because I remember going out to her house in Patterson, and she had that, was it a propane bag?
Yes.
Propane tank in the yard and stuff like that. So, I remember those.
Yeah, that's one of the things I remember driving up, and she was on the porch in one of those rocking chairs, and she was always shelling peas or husking corn or something like that on the porch when we got there, because of course she was going to be cooking for us when we were there.
So one of the things that Trisha and I talk about, she blogs about, is W.F. Branch High School. It's a big deal, right, in Newport.
Yes, it is.
So I know that reunions were very popular started in 1988, right? What do you remember about those reunions, going to them? You know, what kind of things did you do, if anything?
It was hot.
Well, yeah, because it was always in what, September?
Yeah, Labor Day.
September in Arkansas is.
It was hot.
It's hot.
We had our matching shirts, so we had a shirt. We always had to go, and then it was, mom and daddy making us, oh, this is such and such, and they child or whatever. So then we'd have to hang out with other people. But we kind of already knew some of them because their parents lived in Newport and stuff too. But yeah, we always had on matching shirts. We always take a picture. So we had 1 year the gold shirt with the purple pirate. Then 1 year we had the purple shirt with the gold pirate. Then 1 year we had white shirts with purple and gold. So yes, and we have pictures like that each year with all 5 of us.
Yeah, that was kind of like our family picture.
And our granny, because granny was a teacher there first. So yeah, just going to that and meeting other people.
And I have a picture of y'all from, was that 1988?
It was
the
88.
first one? And I wish we were doing a YouTube video. I could put it on the screen. So,
It's on my blog.
and I would put it on the highlight, put it just you.
Put an arrow.
Because I think you had a
Yeah.
curl.
And
Did
I
you
had
have a
those
Jerry
purple,
curl?
I had those purple jeans on.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. I love looking at old pictures and making fun of people.
Don't
Or just
worry.
you.
I know that's what I know, but yes, I did have one back then.
So did the kids interact with the older folks any, or was it kind of one of those things where the kids just kind of went off and played, and the older folks played cards and dominoes and that kind of thing, or?
So kids had to do kid stuff. I mean, they would. If we were eating or something, you probably would sit by somebody and talk to them at that point. But for the most part, yeah, we normally did other stuff because at that point, you have all the different generations anyway. Because you had the generation, the boomers, I guess.
Yeah.
Then you had, and then you had us. So it was just a big picnic. It was a family reunion type of situation. And, it would be in the park, so you just was doing whatever.
And, we come from a generation where, kids were not in grown folks' business. So, after they made our plates and everything and we ate, then we were expected to go play while they, caught up and, got together and reminisced about school and things like that. Those were conversations that they didn't want us a part of.
Yeah, what I want to know about was Trisha beating up kids, pushing them down, and bullying kids?
So no, that's the thing. Now,
I'm gonna edit that out.
Go on.
I'm gonna edit that out. That was don't answer that.
let me get my answer first.
So this is your answer. I'm gonna edit it out.
That's not going to be the answer.
So listen, I think it's a legitimate question. Now, you would think Trisha was,
Whoa.
but Trisha did have a slick mouth back in the day.
Had?
Okay, as we know, Trisha has a
Thank
slick
you.
mouth.
we're going left really quickly.
No, but so
We
and
telling
it
the truth
wasn't
very quickly.
Trisha didn't get into big fights. Well, she was either say something, but she wasn't fighting folks, so she wasn't ever starting fights. So no, and for the most part, I think a lot of times people feel like we, the Mays kids, we were kind of, I think, stuck up anyway.
Yeah, it was
I think
special.
they thought anyway.
That's why she act like that now.
Next question.
I'm gonna edit all that. Okay. So as you know, Trisha's been doing her family research for more than a decade now, right? And she's run across some really interesting things and interesting finds. So I just wonder if you have a particular moment in her research or a particular find that she's had that has kind of stood out to you.
If anything, it's knowing how many generations of our family and on both sides have been here. Because, we knew we were from here and we've been here, But now, I can put a number to it, especially, nowadays that when other people feel like they need to tell somebody to leave the country, then I have my fight back words to say, you know what, been here longer than you. How about you leave? Thank you. So that to me, that truly has stood out. And I tell people every chance I get.
And you may think that stuff, but when you know it, right? And so, in my family, we always thought that, like a lot of black folks, had Indian in their family, right? But as of right now, my DNA tests don't bear that out. And so, because families hold secrets, there's no question that happens, especially in the black community. And they don't tell what the real deal is. You may not really know where you're from,
right?
And so, finding those things out is, important.
Yeah, I think so. And when I say I'm sixth generation Arkansan, we were here like just 20 years after the state became a state. So when you say it like that, that means, we've been here. And we didn't start out in Arkansas. We migrated from Alabama, and then before that was, Virginia. So our family has been in America since almost the beginning of America. So I feel like that's important.
It is. And you mentioned the whole we all think we come from Native American. So recently I was doing something for work and about Native American Heritage Month. And so because of that, I did call Trisha and I was like, Trisha, what don't we have, are we Native American, or what tribe we from?
So you can celebrate too.
Well, because I was in the presentation was going to call out, hey, because the person I was working with called out theirs. So I was like, oh, let me check with Trisha. And then Trisha was like, well, we're not so much Native American, it's probably more Asian.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, thanks.
So you remember that for Asian Heritage Month.
Right.
Which we'll find out when that is.
It's later in the year.
All right, so we're going to close out with this last question for you. One of the things that we think are important when doing something like this, family research, is having the support of your family, whether they're really interested or not. Just having that support. What advice would you give someone who might not be as interested as Trisha is, but still want to, give that support?
So you just have to be there for the person. And if they say, hey, let's go to this library all day, you should go with them. If that's what they want to do. Or if they ask you to read something, read it, and those types of things. So just support the person. Because believe it or not, I do support. She may send me an article. I may not read it the same day, but I do eventually read the article.
Well, I mean, look, we know everybody's not interested in, deep family research like a lot of people like Trisha and a lot of other family researchers and genealogists are. Not everybody's interested in it. I wasn't at one point, but it's the truth. Just know that people aren't interested. But researchers are going to find some things that are not so good and some things that are fantastic and great. And so having the support of people in your family, it goes a long way. So we just think that's important.
Yeah, no, I feel like the things that I do, I share everything that I can. And if something, sparks your interest or something that you say, oh, I would have never guessed that would have been in our family, or we really did that. So I don't expect anybody to just, be gung-ho, let's go to the library, let's go look at some microfilm, let's spend 8 hours, just on Ancestry putting this tree together. I don't expect anybody to be that engaged in it. So the support that I get from my family is way more than I ever thought that I would get. And I'm just happy that they have found little nuggets that they have been able to know about our family.
The research makes for good stories. Or interesting stories.
Yes.
That too. That too. So, all right, guys, we appreciate you for listening. We thank our very special guest,
Thank you,
Paedra, for
Big
joining
sister.
us.
Well, thank you for the invite. I feel
Yes.
special.
Well, we know you didn't have to, but
Well,
we're
you are
glad.
special.
Yeah, well, we're glad that you did. Everybody, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. All of our social media information is down in the description box of this episode. We appreciate it if you would tell a friend to like and subscribe. And I think we'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, y'all take care.